Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a quick process video for you today. I'm going to be working in my Illustrating Bible. This is the Psalms and Proverbs version, and I'm going to be doing a page in here using only items from the kit. I've had a few conversations with some people about not having all of the extras, and you hear me mention it on my channel whenever we do unboxing that the kit is really all you need to be able to work through the By the Will for God devotionals. And so by the time I have recorded this video, I'm actually on day 11 or 12, I think, of the devotional. But I wanted to circle back and do day 2 because it was just a really good day for me. It was a really important day. I did a lot of studying for this day, and there's just a lot of things that I want to keep in mind from this particular day. So I'm going to journal this here. But I'm going to be using just only the items that I have left from the kit. I'm still, like I said, working through it. But so I don't have all of the items, but I'm using the items that were like in the free gift as well as the pieces that I have left over so far. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm using this watercolor dot card. And I'm just going to apply a little bit to the verse that I'm going to focus on. This is actually Psalm 90. This was actually the focus verse for the retreat that we went on, and it just really coordinated all in my mind at the same time. There's just a lot to it. And so I'm going to use this day because I had already journaled in this particular Bible on the other verse that I wanted to use. So I'm going to just use this day instead. And the first thing I'm going to do, this is kind of my only little cheat item here, is this hymnal paper. Now, you could omit this altogether if you don't have hymnal paper, or you could use book text or just whatever. I'm just adding this as a little layering piece here in the background. I just tore the edges, and I'm going to distress it with archival ink in ground espresso. That's the one ink that I'm going to be using for this whole day, because as we do mention, if you want to use the stamps, you need a stamp pad of some sort. And so I'm just going to use the Distress archival ink in ground espresso for this page. And this is the stamp set that comes with the kit, and this is one of the journaling cards that came in the free in the goodie bag. And so I'm going to use this little luggage thing, and I'm putting this on this clear thing. I could not find my stamping blocks, and so I'm actually using the one that I have for my my Stampin' Up tool. But I just only stamped it the one time. You can see I didn't get a super dark impression, but that's okay. I just kind of wanted the texture. This is actually going to end up kind of as a background piece. And this is not watercolor paper. I'm just want to throw that out there. This is a journaling card, and so it's got a little bit of a coating on it, so you're not going to get the same exact kind of watercolor look that you would with this, but I wanted to go ahead and just show you that you can still alter things just a little bit here. So I created a color, like a brown color, from these watercolors, used red and a green and a little bit of like the ochre color to create a couple different colors here. And I'm just using my water brush. You could use just a regular paintbrush and water, and I just kind of added a little bit of color here, and then I fussy cut that out, and then I'm going to go around the edge of this entire thing with my little tool here, just to add a little bit of interest and everything. Like I said, I wasn't worried about this being the focal image, so it's actually going to kind of be one of my background pieces, but this just gives it a little bit more interest than just stamping, which you could do. So you just stamp directly onto the page if you want to do that. I just wanted to add a little bit more color and everything here. So I'm pulling in one of these cards. This is another journaling card that's like the paint chips, and this also came in the goodie bag from By the Will for God. And the verses that are listed on here do not coordinate with what I'm working on today. So I am going to actually just use a portion of that, but I'm going to tear that down. And so I have a couple pieces of the ephemera here that I went through and fussy cut and then distressed around the edges. And those are going to be here on my page as well. I'm just kind of laying everything out. I took one of the other journaling cards. Again, that was one of the freebie items, and I used that to write out my verse that I wanted to include. I wrote Proverbs 4:23 on that one. And now I'm going to come in and work a little bit more on my background. And so I'm just using the packaging that this dot card came in. And because this watercolor is so pigmented, you just really need a little bit. So I'm picking up a little bit, adding a bunch of water with my water brush there onto this packaging, and then I mixed in just a tad of that brown. Now I'm spraying my entire page down with a light mist of water here, because these illustrating Bibles they don't hold water very well. They don't really do well with watercolor. So it works a little bit better. You get better results, in my opinion, if you kind of have a light misting of water on there. Just helps the colors mix. And you can see I'm adding just varying shades, and just to add a little bit more interest. And I'm just very messily just adding this on here with my water brush. Again, you could use just a regular paintbrush and water, and kind of softening the edges over here. You could cover the whole page if you wanted to. I'm just doing the margin because I just didn't feel like it was necessary to do the full entire page. Another item, if you want a quick way to add color, if you purchase the digital items, sometimes they have like extra pages in there that you can print those on clear sticker paper and just apply that right directly to your page. I did not use that because not everybody gets that, but if you do buy the bundle from By the Wolfer Guide, you get that digital set of papers for free. So here I'm just going in with some splatters, and I just added a little bit of a darker color in like a darker brown. I made a darker brown, and I'm going to add those as well. It just kind of helps break up some of the background and just add a little bit more interest. My background is just a very messy watercolor wash back there, and most of this is going to get covered up. This just is really to add some interest, and then I'm adding a little bit of the darker color just to the edges, just to kind of pull your eye toward the center of the page. So here's where I'm going to go in with that paint chip card, and I'm just going to trim this down so that I'm just taking off all of the sections where the verses are, and I'm going to use this other part. I tore the edge down, one of the edges, and then added the distress ink all the way around. I'll be distressing all the pieces that go on here, so with that same archival ink. And then I'm just kind of rehearsing all of the pieces where I want to put them. I kind of like this arrangement, but that it leaves this one little gap down at the bottom that I wasn't super crazy about. And so I'm going to try to find a way to kind of fix that. I wanted my my cluster to be a little bit wider, so it just left this weird little gap there. You can see me just kind of fiddling around with this for a minute. I decided I kind of like the arrangement of these three pieces here, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the back side of these just to kind of hold them in place, so I'm not having to kind of fidget with them every single time as I'm adding different things. So that will just kind of hold everything in place while I continue working, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. And then what I'm going to do is actually create a little pocket out of this cluster for my little card there. So I want to cover up that space at the bottom, so I'm using a strip of fabric. This was actually pulled from the bow clips. I just disassembled it and then tore it down, and then I'm just gonna glue that across the bottom, and that's just gonna give everything a place to sit. It's just gonna anchor everything, and then it's gonna fill in that gap as well, and that just at least for my eye just looks a little bit better. And then I'm just gonna fray that edge where I cut that with the scissors, and then I'm going to add my glue for my pocket here. So I'm just adding adhesive along two sides so that I can tuck my journaling card down in there. And I'm actually going to wait on doing that. I put this little priority sticker that again was a freebie, and then I'm using these clear stickers from the kit as well to kind of add to that little cluster up at the top. I wanted to bring in some orange up there. So I have the ephemera piece that I cut down, and now I'm just using the clear stickers in the background. And when you purchase the kit, just the regular kit, you always get the digital items as well. So you get a digital version of all of like the clear stickers and everything, and so you can always go in and print more of those, which is another way to just really make your supplies last. And so you'll have enough to work through all 14 days of the devotional if you choose to do that. So I know not everybody does an entry for each day. I do, but that's just the way that I like to work through them. But that's one way you can just make your supplies stretch, is just print those out on clear sticker paper or white paper or however you want to do it. And then I added another little piece of fabric to the top of my little journaling card there. And now I'm using the alphas that came with the kit. I always just stick these on my finger when I'm spelling out a title or whatever. I don't know why I do this. This just makes it easier for me than peeling them all off the sticker paper. Anyway, so I'm just spelling out the title of the devotional, actually, which is Take Heed. Just kind of a warning. Really, this day was talking a lot about guarding your heart, and just such an important topic. And so I really wanted to emphasize that. And then I just went around that with a black pen. And now you can see I haven't glued that cluster down. I'm still kind of fiddling with it. I wanted to make sure that I had room for it. I can see here I did not have any bleed through from the watercolor. There was a little bit that got on the back, but that was because I was just being messy, not because it actually bled through. It just kind of leaked around the edges. So here's where I'm gluing it down. You can see I'm just adding glue to two sides of this right now, the very bottom and then along the left edge. And then that way I can kind of place this where I want this on my page, and then I will be able to tuck my journaling card in there. So I have the verse on the front, and then I have a prayer written down on the back there. And so I'm just gonna tuck this down in, and then I realized I had enough room that I could actually glue that third side down and make it more like a pocket instead of a tuck spot. So I just added a little bit more glue just to keep everything secure. I added another little sticker over here on the right, and that pretty much wraps it up for me. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, bye.